This is your Chargers linebacker, Dan Henley, and you're tuning in with Chargers Unleashed.
Welcome to another edition of Chargers Unleashed. Jake Hefner and Dan Wolkenstein here with you from the LAFB Network. This is your first time tuning in to the show, but make sure to hit that like, subscribe button on YouTube. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Dan Wolkenstein. Happy day after Halloween, sir.
Spooky season. Happy Halloween. How's your Halloween? This is your Christmas.
Yeah. My wife and I, we do 90 days of horror that start in September. And normal people who would say, okay, October 31st, that's the end of the scary movies. Let's start throwing on Mariah Carey and let's get into the Christmas season. That's not really what we do until December. So we still have a November slate of horror movies that we are set to watch, and they are all meticulously scheduled out. So we're looking forward to that before we get into the holiday season of Christmas. But outside of that, Dan, you went out last night trick-or-treating in a very nice family theme.
I did. It was great. It was wonderful. Kids were wired, but that's what Halloween's all about, right? Welcome to Chargers Unleashed Live. Folks in the comments, looks like you guys already understand the drill, but if you've not been here before, let's break it down. All you got to do, you can leave a voicemail anytime. 323-902-7586 is the number to the hotline. If you have any comments, thoughts, questions, topics, whatever, put them in the chat. Let's start off the conversation with favorite candy on Halloween.
This is so simple for me.
And I swear, if you say something stupid like Runts or like
who's still eating those?
Almond Joy, I'm gonna be.
Oh, definitely not. I'm not a big coconut person.
Okay.
So Almond Joy does not fly with me.
The two options to give you that would say face. There's only two: Sour Patch or Reese's.
I mean, Reese's are always a go-to. Whether it's
hold on, Sherry. No, we're ending this conversation right now. Dots.
Dots.
Who are we?
Sorry, nice. I like everybody's opinions in here. Candy corn sucks. Where's my Laffy Taffy people at? For me, Dan, a suggestion to anybody who enjoys both Skittles and Starburst like I do. And take this with a word of caution, because after you do this, you may be making a quick appointment to the dentist, depending on how many you eat.
This sounds painful.
So you have to get it in this combination, though. You have to get the Favorites pack of Starburst. So basically all the red and pink flavors that they've created. And you have to go out and you have to get the wild berry bag of Skittles.
Okay, I'm following. Okay.
You take 2 of the wild berry Skittles, and it doesn't matter which one of the favorite Starburst that you take. Pick any one. Combine those 2 and pop them.
Oh.
Remember the movie Ratatouille where he's like, oh, eat this one, and then you got a little bit of the zazz, the zang. Okay, now take this one, and you feel those flavors mixing together. It's like that. It's unbelievable.
I have heard. Okay, I'm not a fan of candy corn, but I have had, and I heard this, and I tried it. It's actually pretty good. I think it's peanuts and candy corn combined.
Yes, it's actually it's. I know that there's people in here that don't like candy corn, but if you go to a party and there's nothing there, and except candy corn, get one of those $1 bag of peanuts just to stick right in your pocket. And 100%. Then when nobody's looking, go ahead and spike the candy corn bowl with these peanuts, mix them together, and it'll make that a lot better.
Yes, I agree. Look, we got a lot of folks in here talking Twix. We've talked about Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, I think is the winner right now. A lot of people voting for Twix.
Reese's are always great.
Cody, well, first question from Chargers fans, from Cody. Do we pick up a bag or stick with Vidal? Sorry, pick up a bag. I'm still thinking bag of Skittles. Thanks, Jake. It's early. I'm sorry.
Honestly, and we said this during the Locked On live crossover earlier this week, I think Kamani Vidal is honestly throwing cold water on the fire that the Chargers are going to go out and get it back. If there's any move that is made before the trade deadline, and Dan echoes this, it's going to be along the offensive line. Yes, it's still undetermined when exactly Omarion Hampton is going to come back. He's eligible to return after this week's game against the Titans. But I'm telling you, Joe Alt is a force multiplier. You get Bobby Hart, which, hey, we can criticize him fairly for his performance in the Indianapolis game, but against the Minnesota Vikings, that was a nice bounce back for a dude who hasn't started a game in 3 weeks.
Totally.
Vidal is showing not only in running the ball, but blocking that he can be a serviceable backup for the time being. So if I'm betting money on it, it's not a running back. It would be an offensive lineman before the trade deadline.
And you did see Diane Rossini. I think it was on today's
athletic report
that the Chargers are looking for offensive line. What that means, who knows? We'll find out. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm with you. I don't see this Chargers team going out there and spending big bucks on a running back. Now, that being said, big bucks on running backs, that doesn't usually happen. So we should be okay. But I agree with you in the sense, like, Kamani Vidal's looking really good. My only hesitation, honestly, is that I don't necessarily know if you want to bank on that in this stretch of the season, given like how close you are to like not being in the playoff picture. So in my opinion, like an insurance policy, maybe going out and spending a day 3 pick on one, or a late day 3 pick, or a pick swap or something like that might be the way. But it really, in my opinion, probably just depends on the health of Omarion Hampton. If he's close, they're probably good. If he's out like 1 week, maybe after this week. But following that, I think you got to get something. That's my opinion. Jose, $5 donation. Thank you, Jose. Do you think one of the Titans players will fly back to the Chargers? If yes, who do you think it will be? I think it might be guard Kevin Zeitler. Have you seen his name thrown out a lot here, Jake? What say you?
I'm going to preface this by looking at revisionist history of what we were saying prior to the Chargers playing the New York Giants. So Dan Wolkenstein included, he was saying, hey, Kayvon Thibodeau should be joining the flight back with the Chargers after that game. I am not going to overlook this game whatsoever. Not going to look at it as a cakewalk.
Oh, God.
Can't afford to do that after what you've seen earlier this season. Look, Minnesota was the first game in a month that you've seen this team perform in all 3 phases of the game. I'm not saying that they're going to go out there and lose it, but come on, us watching this team for as long as we all have, you know that there's some moments like this. And you know that even after this recent injury report that we'll get into for the Tennessee Titans, it's like everything matches up for the Chargers to go out and dominate, right? Well, I mean, they should.
See,
Jake,
you're coming back. You're coming back.
Shoulda, coulda, wouldas don't play on Sundays. That's what I used to say. Shoulda, coulda, wouldas don't play on Sundays. We'll see what the Titans do right before the trade deadline. As we know, you traded one of your best corners in Roger McCreary earlier this week to the Los Angeles Rams. So there's another piece down that they don't have in the secondary. You're riddled with injuries on the defensive line in Jeffrey Simmons and Arden Key that they don't have for this matchup. I don't know. I really don't know. I would expect the Titans, again, to be sellers if they're going to be selling off any pieces. We've heard from multiple reports that teams are giving them calls for some of their players. And if it makes sense for the Chargers, yeah, you should be looking at guard. You should be looking at tackle, whatever it may be. But guard might be the way to go if we're talking about specifically with the Tennessee Titans here.
Oh, man. Which Titan? I mean, I guess if it was a Titan, it'd probably be Zeitler. Maybe a Pollard. I don't know.
But I agree with what Forgotten Locale's comment is here. When you look at the Titans, and we'll break this through when we go through offensive and defensive matchups, one of their bright spots is their offensive line.
Yeah.
It's one of their few bright spots that they actually have on their team, considering what they have developed and invested in over the last few years with Peter Skoronski, with J.C. Latham, Obviously, Zeitler playing pretty decently. When you have a rookie quarterback like this in Cam Ward, why wouldn't you want to protect him?
The way I kind of look at offensive line on the market is it's twofold. One, you've heard everybody talk about, like, it's a premium position. No one just hands out starting offensive linemen on the trade block. That's just not a thing. I don't agree with that 100%, but it comes at a premium. If you're going to get someone at that position, tackle, guard, whatever, especially at this point, like, in order for a team to let that go, it's going to be a premium. And is it worth it for that team that needs the offensive line? Chargers have how many draft picks now for this coming season?
Let's keep that in mind.
So let's say they have to pay a premium for an offensive line, which means, let's say they got to pay more picks and maybe a higher draft pick than maybe would be equivalent to the value of the player. You could argue, well, would you rather have the pick, bird in the hand, two in the bush kind of thing? Would you rather have the player who you know is going to be solid, give up the pick? I don't know. But to me, the other part of this is a team getting rid of an offensive lineman, for the most part. They're not going to get rid of an offensive lineman to make their team worse. If they have a surplus of linemen, maybe. If they got an extra one laying around, which they don't have. But you think about it from their perspective too. Like, they got franchise quarterbacks out there that they're trying to save too, right? So it's going to be tough. But I said it last week. I'll say it again. To me, the only thing that moves the needle for me in terms of expectations for this Chargers team is if they get an offensive line boost. That's it. Anything else, whether it's they go out and get another running back, I don't think that does much for me, considering Martin Hampton's clearly RB1 when he comes back. They go get interior defensive line help. I don't know. Honestly, they bring in more guys who are injured. I think that does just as much for me. Tight end, corner, secondary, it doesn't really matter to me. I think you got Klingscale and Minter and folks who will make anyone look good. Dean Leonard coming back for special teams is huge, right? So to me, like, the offensive line is the clear issue here. And weirdly, if Bobby Hart continues this, like, I'm just looking at the interior. Can they do it? I don't know. Should they do it and pay a premium to bring someone in? That's tough. I could see both sides of it, honestly. I could totally see both sides. Jake, Halloween question. This is right up your alley. Expression Station. Question. You have to survive Halloween night with either Jason, Michael Myers, or It. Who are you picking?
It's not It. It can get you in a variety of different ways. If you took out It and you replaced him with Freddy Krueger, I would say the exact same thing. He can get you in a variety of different ways. For me, I feel like I could outrun or outsmart Jason or Michael Myers, especially Jason. Jason's more of a lumbering fool, even though he eventually always gets the person that he's pursuing. So yeah, I feel like I could outsmart Jason. That's been done a number of times in the movies. So I would go with that.
Okay. Let's see. There are some questions here. Is there any way that we can get JPJ from the Raiders?
God,
it would be lovely. It would be lovely.
But unfortunately, he plays inside your division.
And you got
and the Raiders are not going to be dealing someone like that when they spent that type of draft capital on them to a division rival.
So I'm not as locked on they're not going to deal to a division rival as others are. So it's less to me about that, and it's more the first part you mentioned. They spent a premium on that position, so they're going to expect a premium at that position. Because
he's still in a rookie contract.
Yeah.
It's his second year with the team.
Yep. Forgotten says, Oakland would never deal as JPJ. Maybe. I don't know.
Neither would Vegas.
Our Bolts don't have to deal with defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons.
I think and they're down to their 4th, 5th, 6th cornerbacks. No Xavier Woods. Justin Herbert, Kamani Vidal should feast this wide receiver core. Gadsden will feast.
Should.
That's Jake, the key word there.
I'm hurting here. I need your help. Folks in the chat need your help too. I have 3 tight ends in fantasy. We're going to get to this game, I promise. I have 3 tight ends in fantasy. Tucker Kraft, Tyler Warren, Oronde Gadsden. I can only bench one.
I understand your pain because it's great matchups for all three, to be perfectly honest. I'm probably definitely going Kraft because he has shown you the last 4 weeks of consistency and targets.
You're starting Kraft, okay?
I would start Kraft. Have you had Gadsden on your bench the last few weeks?
Yep.
So have I. And while thankfully my fantasy team hasn't suffered because of it, I'm kind of wanting to do what Oronde Gadsden Sr.'s been doing and keeping his son on the bench so that he continues this hot streak that he's on. God, Pittsburgh's defense is just really, really struggling right now.
I know.
So Warren is really enticing. Warren's really enticing.
They're all enticing.
The
Titans defense is.
I mean, come on. Is your projected points like 1 or 2 points off from each other for each one of them?
They're all like right there. Well, Gadsden actually is projected lower than both of the other ones.
I mean, I understand why.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
the homer in me is like, I'm riding Oronde regardless. And then it's just, I feel like Warren would be the odd man out, which just feels so weird.
Maybe follow the superstitious footsteps of Oronde Gadsden Sr. Go with Kraft and Warren.
Yeah, I think that's
just to see because we would much rather see Oronde Gadsden perform well in an actual live game than what happens on our fantasy squad.
Right, and my team lose in fantasy. Yeah,
exactly.
People would rather there you go for sure.
Fall in the spear if you need to, Dan.
Fine. Louds are brewing. Take one for the team and keep him on the bench. Deal. All right, that's what I'm doing. Fine. Jake, week 9, Chargers versus Titans. We're going to break down offense versus defense on both sides, talk about bold predictions, game predictions. But Jake, before we do that, didn't get much sleep last night because of the wiredness of our kids. Speaking of sleep, let's talk about our friends over at Sleeper.
Well, as it relates to sleep, Dan, I didn't get any sleep either for a multitude of different reasons.
Thinking about a way the Chargers team gets upset by the Titans. Is that why?
Why would you even put that in the stratosphere?
I'm just saying. Look,
come on.
I am so far past. Like, it has been in the ether since they lost to the Giants.
Good Lord. Anyways, the NFL season is here, which means you now have a chance to win up to 1,000 times your cash on daily fantasy football. With Sleeper, football has never been more exciting than it is right now. With players like Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. Pick on these stats for these stars like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, fantasy points, and more for up to 1,000 times payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right and you could win big. Just use the promo code Chargers LAFB and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper terms of use for details. Currently in operating in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today.
Chargers versus Titans. Let's get the voice. We have one voicemail for this game. We had some voicemails left over from last week. We just had too many, to be honest.
Can I take a guess who it was that called?
Yes, you can.
I mean, the betting money would say it's a Thier that called.
Let's see.
Dan, Jake, this is your boy T.
All right. Where do you think this is going?
Let's see. Coming off of a nice blowout win against Minnesota, most likely he's probably going to say we're back on the wagon. Trust the coach. Dan, you need to start believing in this team once again. You're a loser. Don't talk about my coach. Don't talk about my GM. Something of that nature.
Dan, I'm going to give you only 5% credit for calling Oronde Gadsden to be drafted by the Lakers.
5%?
Because of Joe Ortiz. You would have not made that call if that was Telesco drafting the team.
Well, yeah, if that was Telesco drafting the team, we all know that would have been the case. But
anyway.
So again,
whichever 5% for
5%.
What a shade!
Anyway, I love you. My bold prediction for Sunday.
Let me shit talk you for just 30 seconds, but I love you, man.
Kimani Ryder, 178 total yards, 3 touchdowns. Chargers win 45-10.
So 170 plus yards, 3 touchdowns for Vidal.
3 touchdowns.
Chargers win 45-10.
Chargers win 45-10.
Let's go, baby. Get ready for Sunday night.
Okay. Well, we got I don't even know if that's a bold prediction. I mean, the Titans team's getting blown out. They're not a good team, and they're injured. Their offense is brutal. They got a rookie quarterback, so you like the Jesse Minter matchup there.
They've changed coaches.
Yeah. After they just changed coaches at the beginning of the season. Jake, what's your 500-foot view on this one?
Keep your foot on the gas. Take what you had in Minnesota, what you had against the Vikings, and show that for the next 3 games or 3 or 4 game stretch. There have been too many inconsistencies with this team. And whether that's, and I'm not even going to say injuries, because injuries happen to everyone. And somehow teams that are really banged up still find ways to win. So I'm not going to use injuries in this particular case. But whether it's self-inflicted mistakes like penalties, like you saw in the Giants game, defense just being out of position against the Commanders, too many explosive plays allowed to the Miami Dolphins, even though you ended up winning that game. Finally, the defense started to look like itself last Thursday. That was vintage Jesse Minter defense. Greg Roman, I think his entire game plan that he had in leaning on Vidal for a majority of the game, which opened up Justin Herbert, which opened up the running game for himself to utilize his legs, opened up the bootleg and those wide open spots that he was able to find in the defense. I mean, this should be a very similar game plan, considering who you're going up against, shorthanded as they are. Same type of things apply. Find a way to get to Cam Ward. Find a way to create pressure with this newly developed trio that you have with Tooley, Mack, and OA. Figure it out. I'm obviously very excited about the opportunity that Nico Reed has with Tarheeb still being out. I'm very excited to see that. Excited for guys like RJ Mickens, who last week got a great opportunity to step up. He's going to get it again with Tony Jefferson being out for this game. You should be able to take the same exact tactics that you took against the Minnesota Vikings, and you should be able to amplify it in this game against the Titans. Keep it rolling.
I agree. The Chargers team is going up against a Tennessee defense that is without Jeffrey Simmons, without Arden Key, without Xavier Woods. Their starting defensive line is SJD, who folks know very well, Trevondre Sweat, who we were both high on last year in the draft, Draymond Jones, CJ Ravenel, Shy Tuttle, James Lynch. How many of those names do you folks know? Now, Chargers will welcome that, considering who they've gone up against the defensive front, as well as who they've been playing as an offensive line. This defense for the Titans is not good, man. Like, this is... If the Chargers... I'm just going to say it. If the Chargers lose this game, it will be the most embarrassing loss of the Jim Harbaugh, Joe Ortiz era by far. And it will be...
More embarrassing than the Colts, more embarrassing than allowing 27 unanswered to the Washington Commanders.
100%. This is a bad team. And what this win would mean for the trajectory of this Chargers season, you cannot lose this game, considering what this schedule looks like moving forward.
Yes.
Right now, with this win, I feel like I could confidently pencil in 9 wins. And then you got one more win you got to go seek out with a great team. Whether it's the Steelers, whether it's the Eagles, Broncos, there's a lot of good teams still left on your schedule. Chiefs. You lose this one, you got to steal 2. You got to win this one. Like, you have to. This is a must-win game. And I think the Chargers coaching staff understands what's at stake right now. 6-3 versus 5-4 right now. Massive, massive difference. Jake, do you want to start with the offense for the Chargers or the offense for the Titans?
Let's start with the offense for the Titans, Dan.
Okay. So, Cam Ward, rookie debut this season. How are you feeling about this Titans offense? What are you scared of? Calvin Ridley not there.
I mean, it's a very simple formula. The quickest way to take away an opposing team's run game, jump out to a nice lead. That's what you did against the Vikings. Aaron Jones was returning from injury. Everybody was saying, oh, great, perfect timing, because the Chargers have had a terrible time setting the edge. And you saw what happened to them the week prior when they faced the Colts and what Jonathan Taylor did to you. Don't allow this team to allow their running game to get going. Just don't do it. Tajee Spears, Tony Pollard, do not allow them to do any of that. Khalil Mack, obviously pissed about only playing 12 snaps in that Indianapolis Colts game. Oh, man. Did he show that he was pissed off against the Vikings?
Yeah.
Not only getting to the quarterback, but he was fantastic crashing the edges of that offensive line and stopping the run. Chargers didn't give up any big plays during that Minnesota Vikings game, something that has plagued them essentially all season long. You need to go back to that. Do not underestimate the arm ability of Cam Ward. You should be putting consistent pressure on Cam Ward at this point in time, in this juncture, given what his offensive weapons are. But do not allow that running game to get going for Tennessee, to give him a safety blanket in order for the Titans to start getting dicey and call something up that you would much rather or less not want to see. Don't come into this game underestimating a rookie quarterback. We saw what happened against Jackson Dart. It was a very, very simple formula. They leaned on the run game. It won out for the Chargers. Their quarterback was able to be mobile and create big plays himself. Do not do the exact same thing that you did during the Giants week. You should be able to handle this offense very well.
Okay. Like their offense is bad. Like bad. Points per game, dead last, 13.8. Yards per game, dead last, 248.8 total. Passing yards per game, second worst, just 168.4 yards. Rushing yards, dead last, 80.4. They are not good. Second worst scoring percentage, 27.3. Only the Browns are worse than them. Their offense is awful. If this would be the biggest stain on Jesse Minter's resume to date if they lose this game. I'm sorry. It's that bad. Completion percentage, dead last, 57.7%. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. They give out the most sacks in the NFL. 4.25 sacks per game. There is not a bright spot in this team for this offense. And if Jesse Minter's defense loses to this, if Derwin James' defense and Khalil Mack lose, there is no world in which the Chargers should even be remotely allowing this Titans team to be in this game. Which scares the shit out of me, honestly.
Yes. Because in truth, there's no reason that you should have been 49 seconds away from defeat at that point in time against a one-win Miami Dolphins team. And you were, if it wasn't for Justin Herbert. We might be pulling a lot of bad nostalgia talking about the game like this.
It's happened too often.
But you all know what we're talking about.
Yep.
We're not trying to slander or puff up anybody else's chest. Just go handle your business.
Yep. Look, I mean, the weapons for this Tennessee offense, aside from Cam Ward, you're looking at Tony Pollard behind Calvin Ridley's not playing. So you got Alec Iomanner and Van Jefferson.
Iomanner, who's going to be a very good piece for Cam Ward moving forward. We
Not
talked
there
about
yet.
him plenty through the draft process.
Shamiri DK, another guy. And then Okonkwo, who I like at tight end. We got Gunnar Helm. That's it. That's literally it. When you got a defense like what the Chargers have right now with those names playing, I understand some of the commentary about, oh, this person should deserve the rest. Go earn the rest. Go whoop ass the first half, then rest. But don't come into this game thinking, oh, this is going to be a cakewalk, because it ain't working. It just don't let it even happen. Like, don't even let it try to happen. Like, I don't know, man. Ooh, Action Dan 65. Jake, $20 donation. Woo, feeling good. Jump on the Titans early. Thank you, Action Dan. And rest your starters in the third and fourth quarter. Yes. Save them for the Sunday night game versus Steelers.
Rest the starters in the third and the fourth quarter. So what's the score going to be by the time halftime rolls around?
Like, if it's 24-3, if it's a 3-score game, I can see it.
But going into what quarter, though? At
Third.
What point of the game?
I'm not saying rest all the starters. I'm just saying, like,
I'm like, let's be specific of what we're talking about.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, guys like a Derwin James, who may not be 100%, right? And you have a slew of DBs who may be able to kind of help heavy the load, if you will, right? Like, if you got an RJ Mickens back there, I know Tony Jefferson's not playing, but, like, your secondary is pretty good. I think you can manage without Derwin James with a 21-point lead.
Just win the damn game.
I mean, yes, but the sentiment there is what I agree with. If you blow out the team early, then you get your rest.
Sure.
But you got to earn it, right? Minnesota's performance was not what led to you resting. That doesn't matter. Like, win this one at halftime, then rest. Isaac says, push it to the limit, not halftime. Let's see. Well, remember, says Mighty, the Titans couldn't do anything when the God of Thunder and the Lightning came around. Y'all know the story. What story are you talking about?
Zeus, bro. Zeus. Hercules. Come on, you've seen the Disney movie.
Oh, okay, Hercules. I wasn't sure if we were talking. Okay. I don't know. Just making sure.
You might get confused with
By the way,
Thor,
I love Hercules. That's where my mind was going. I love Hercules, by the way. Underrated. Starters will probably be given relief like middle of the fourth quarter in that position. Yeah,
I would agree with that. If it's that type of a situation, that's where you can see the potential to pull them.
Yep.
But here we are talking about pulling starters in the third and the fourth quarter.
This is what I'm saying, man. Like, this is what scares the shit out of me, right? Playing teams with a losing record always makes me nervous. Let's not forget the Giants game. BTFU.
Yes.
So, Jake, anything else on the Titans defense? I mean, again, or Titans offense, excuse me. Like, I could give keys to the game, but, like, they would be so vanilla across the board. Their offense is terrible. No way around it. There's no reason this offense should get anything. So I guess for me, like, if I'm talking keys, like, don't give explosives. Don't give up easy touchdowns.
Set the edge, which you should be able to do against this game, especially with Denzel Perryman being back. You saw a very nice bounce back performance from him against the Vikings, as opposed to what you saw from him in the Colts game. Because, again, the Chargers' defensive line was just getting worked by the Colts in that game. Those offensive linemen were getting to the second level so fast, you didn't have any time to do anything when it came to trying to stop Jonathan Taylor. Just go out and play your game, and you should be able to handle business here.
Michael Stidley in the comments, we just need to play professional football. 100%.
It seems like the most straightforward, cliche comment that you could ever say.
No, but it's so true.
And yet it's very true.
If the Chargers go out and do their job, they win. If the Titans can't say that. The Chargers, I didn't want to get there. Yeah, Ryan, clean game, discipline, tackle. If the Titans don't get easy touchdowns, this game's a wrap. I'll put it that way. Guaranteed win. Mark it right here.
And why is this a must-win game? Well, let's see. Chiefs go up against the Bills this week. They still have yet to play the Broncos at any point this season. That's coming up in a couple weeks. Broncos currently lead the division right now by, just a half a game, considering the divisional record and the tiebreaker? You need to take this next stretch of your 4 games that is an easier pocket of your season, and you need to start collecting wins at this point in time, because that last 5-week stretch of the season,
Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Texans, Broncos.
You need to do this now. now.
Again, so this is what a 5-win after this week versus a 6-win after this week looks like. So let's say you win, right? You get to 6-3 going into week 10. In my opinion, magic number's always been 10 wins. So that means you got to get 4 wins in the following weeks: Steelers, Jags, Raiders, Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Texans, Broncos. So let's say 4 wins. We'll go real quick, Jake. Steelers, win or loss. That's tough, right?
I think defensively, you can find your spots to win that game.
All right, win.
Mhm.
Jaguars.
It's really strange from the standpoint of ever since the Kansas City game for the Jags that things have just torpedoed. And then we got the news yesterday that Travis Hunter is not going to be available for the Chargers game. I don't know what happened to the Jags, but that should be a game that you win.
Okay, so that's 2. So that would make us, let's say we're at 6. So that would make us 8 wins. They got the bye. They're the Raiders. Win. Eagles. That's 9 wins. Eagles, what are you putting?
That's tough.
Loss.
That's tough. I can't bring myself to
Come on, it's easy.
call that one.
You would, if you were a betting man, you predict that a loss.
Yes.
At the Chiefs after already beating them early in the season.
You're going to Arrowhead. I had that marked as a loss prior to the season, so I would still consider it a loss the way that they're playing. It's not going to be the same Chiefs team that you played in week 1.
So you got 9 wins going into week 16 with a win this week, by the way. At the Cowboys.
It's beatable, but it's not guaranteed. I'll still lean towards them getting the job done there.
All right, so there's 10, right? Magic number 10. Then against the Texans in that front. That's tough.
Mm-hmm.
And against the Broncos at Mile High.
That's tough.
So that's your ticket to 10 with a win this week. If they lose this week, you're basically having to almost guarantee you have to either beat the Chiefs or the Eagles. You're going to have to win 2 of these against the Chiefs, Eagles, Texans, Broncos. You got to win 2 of them. That's hard. Always hard. So, Jake, going from the Chargers defense, let's go to the Chargers offense versus Tennessee defense. Pick your poison. Where do you want to go here?
I would, like I said, I think it's going to be the similar type of formula that Greg Roman dialed up for the Minnesota game. I'm hoping that Justin Herbert is going to find these running lanes again to, if it's not there, make the decision to pull the ball down, keep the drive rolling. Lean on Kamani Vidal. You should be able to do that considering the lack of pass rush that the Titans are going to have in this game. Not discounting Devondre Sweat, but, like the force multiplier that Joe Alt is, Jeffrey Simmons is a force multiplier as well, and Titans are not going to have him for this game. So I would expect the interior of the offensive line, which has been a weak spot for them throughout the duration of this season, to get some wins here and open up some holes for Kamani Vidal to get to, and not just have to rely on him bouncing it to the outside. Where do you want to start with the receiving threats? Honestly, Keenan Allen is 4 receptions away from setting the franchise record for the all-time receptions leader over Antonio Gates. I would expect history to be made tomorrow morning.
Is it 4?
Is it 4? He needs 4 receptions, 3 to tie, 4 to surpass Antonio Gates as the receptions leader. Would definitely expect that to happen at some point tomorrow. Ladd McConkey is being Ladd. Rondé Gaston is very much on the come up, which against the middle of that defense, you should definitely be able to do something. And Dan, don't look now, but I like the emergence still of Trey Harris. Notice I didn't even say Quentin Johnson in that. And that is no slight on Quentin Johnson. But when was the last time, and this is not just a factor as it relates to this Titans game, but in the macro sense of what's coming forward, when was the last time that we were able to talk about Justin Herbert having this many weapons? Didn't even say anything about Amarian Hampton because I can't. He's injured.
Man.
Didn't even say anything about the fact that Najee Harris is out. You're on your 4th string running back, really, because Hassan Haskins hasn't played. And still look at the cachet of receiving weapons that Justin Herbert has. And they're finding their rhythm right now. A little bit of a tip of the cap to the front office for that.
I go back to early on, right after the draft, and folks would call me the eternal optimist.
You are.
But this is the visual that I put up when the Chargers finished their draft.
Goddamn. Let's see. So you don't have 1, 2. I'm not even going to really count KLS or Conklin because they really haven't made an impact yet. But look at the other 5. Definitely know that Amari and Hampton, when he gets back, is going to make an impact, and he already has. And if he hadn't gotten injured, we'd be talking about him a lot more. And I think that he would be talked about much more around the league if that injury had not occurred. I still think exactly when he comes back that you're going to see such a shot of adrenaline to the arm as it relates to the running game, especially with the way that Kamani Vidal is playing right now.
Yep.
Like, look at the other 5 options. That's impressive. That's something that Justin Herbert has not had since he came into the league.
Feels good talking about like weapons for Justin, like in a positive light, right? Like Quentin didn't have it. Was he even targeted last week?
No. But everybody that was making that argument to say that it was a bad QJ game, like, who? No. Who cares that Quentin Johnston wasn't targeted? You still put up 37 points. And you didn't need Quentin Johnston to win that game. That should be the narrative of how people are looking at it. It's not because Quentin Johnston is a terrible receiver. If anything, he's been one of your most productive receivers this entire year. Not because he wasn't open. But you didn't need him to score 37 points.
That's a good thing.
That's a great thing.
I'm telling you, like, don't do it. Don't do it, Chargers. Let's see. Daryl with a chat. Morning, guys. Off work and catching you live finally. Hey, Daryl. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Question. How do our Chargers not let this become a trap game? Awesome show as always. Appreciate you. Thank you, Daryl. Jake, how do they not let this become a trap game?
Personal fouls, roughing the passer, cracking a defenseless receiver, stupid penalties, shooting themselves in the foot, allowing the run game to get going, broken coverage, wide open receivers downfield, and then all of a sudden not being able to do what they do offensively. Again, what I just said sounds ridiculous. But believe it or not, all of that has already happened to this team. So just, you've got a month's worth of bad tape to go back and show yourself what not to do.
Yeah,
just keep watching.
On the coaching staff, I am not showing the Vikings recap. I'm not showing Vikings film. I'm showing Colts film. I'm showing Giants film on repeat. On repeat. Go back and watch that Commanders game on repeat. There are clear and obvious ways to lose, and almost always start around beating yourself. And I know that's kind of cliche because it happened on the NFL, but like you watch this Chargers team, their losses, the Colts game aside, which even that, there were some times where they beat themselves. It was like Murphy's Law 101.
It was.
Whatever can go wrong, whether it's luck, bad play calling, bad decisions, bad everything. They shot themselves in the foot constantly. If you go out and just do your job, you play an above average game, you win. Hell, you play an average game, you probably win this game. Sweet jumps. Give me vintage Minter. I like our chances. Yes. Give me week 9? Sorry, week 8 Minter versus week 7.
Give me that all day. Give me that all day.
Yep.
Jesse Minter he didn't necessarily need it, especially when the Chargers got up to a good cushion offensively in terms of points. But I felt that Jesse Minter started blitzing a hell of a lot more than I had seen him in recent weeks, because we all know that he sits back in his zone coverage defense. He's one of the coach's defensive coordinators that does that the most. I just saw him come out with a much more aggressive play style defensively, and it looked great.
Remember the talk before the Giants game, how we were going to take Thibodeau home. Yes, Jake, you mentioned it. Yeah, I'm telling you, like, I have been so...
Nobody is considering this game a cakewalk by any means, and that's why we keep repeating this over and over and over again.
But but people
handle your business.
But that's the thing. That's what irritates me and what scares me is there are people out there that are like, oh, you don't even need to play Derwin James, like down the list of the guys who give Khalil Mack a break. Like, I'm like, absolutely not.
Don't do it.
Should they roll? Yes, but until you do, you're playing, man. Like, go out and earn your rest this week. Don't just bank on last week's win. 6-3 is huge. So in my opinion, this is like, don't care who the opponent is. All gas, no brakes until it's over. And I mean over, like, until it's insurmountable lead, if you get to that point. But a win's a win's a win. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of chatter and a lot of doom gloom if they barely win. But, like, in my opinion, I could care less, man. Like,
no, just get it.
Just get a win.
I don't care if the Chargers win by a safety. Like, just find a way to do it.
Sweet jumps. We use all our trap games. It's time to rock out. Forgotten local. Oh, crap. McCoy is our interim head coach. Yeah. What do you think of the Amarion injury and what week he could return?
He's eligible to return after this week. But there have been people talking that the injury to him, and especially with him recently walking around still in a boot, that it's still going to take some time for him to return. Others have said that it's instead of that 4-week period of coming off the mini IR, that it could be more of like a 6-week injury. Time will tell. We don't know.
Which if it was 6 week, it would get through the bye. So they return week 13 for the Raiders.
It's fine with me. It's fine with me for that game if that's what the expected time of arrival is.
If he comes back for a week, let's say he's back after the Jaguars game, because you got Jags bye week, then Raiders week 13. So that gives us to November 30th.
It's perfect.
I mean, if that's the time to get him back, like, you take it. Sure, you'd like him sooner, but this is the time for hopefully him to rest up. Jake, got some comments here. Let's get some of these before we get to the X factors of this game. What do you think? Oh, Darkstar already did that. Cool. $5 donation. Thank you. €5 donation. I don't know what the conversion rate is these days. Do you know what it is?
I don't. I honestly have never done the math for that. In
Whatever
terms
it is.
of what
Thank you.
The conversion is. Yes, but thank you nonetheless.
Laus de Bruin says he's afraid it was a hairline fracture.
That's what some people I've seen speculated out there for that extended period of time that he can miss. Again, we know that Jim Harbaugh doesn't really give us any indication in terms of what the injury is whenever he does his press conference or when he's pressed to ask. He always says that he's not a doctor, so he's not going to speculate.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. He's eligible to return after this week. The signs are not pointing in the right direction necessarily to him coming back next week, but we'll see what takes place.
Yep. Let me get to some of these comments real quick. Our Bolts better not having a giveaway Sunday. They have given the ball away in 7 consecutive games, and that's why they're -3 in turnover differential.
Yeah, that's something that's definitely plagued them for sure, Dan. They've lost the turnover battle more time this season than they've won it. I mean, even last week it was a wash essentially in the turnover battle. You got to find a way to get back to what you did in the Miami game. And still, you were 49 seconds away from losing that game.
I know.
And yet you won the turnover battle. What was it, 3-1?
You barely won that game.
It's insane to me because if you go back and you watch, and again, this is not necessarily relevant to the Titans game, this is more of a macro sense, almost every single time that the opposing team has gotten a turnover on the Chargers, they have found a way to score. The Chargers have not had that type of luck. It's either a turnover happens, a stupid penalty happens, and then immediately right after it's an explosive play and there's points up on the board for the opposing team. It's something that they have to get better at over the next several weeks.
Yep. So some quick numbers here for this Titans defense, just so Chargers fans understand kind of what they're going up against. We know how bad the Titans offense is. The defense, I would say, is below average. They're not brutally terrible like their offense is, but like their defense isn't great either. 7th most yards allowed per game, 358.4. Passing yards allowed, they are right in the middle of the pack, 17th. Yards rushing per game, 7th most, 142.6. So could the 170 plus 3 touchdown Vidal possibility? I mean, this would be a team that could possibly let it happen. Pressures. They are getting to the quarterback surprisingly more than I think people realize. Let me get to it. I think they are right in the middle of the road. They're probably like 20th. So they're not, again, not terrible. Missed tackles. We got a group of them. Let's see. 63. So kind of middle of the pack, honestly. Blitz percentage. What's your guess, Jake? Where do you think they're at? How much do they blitz?
How much do they blitz?
A lot or a little?
I think they would have to blitz a lot considering what they're facing, but am I wrong?
4th fewest or 4th lowest blitz percentage.
Wow. I did not realize it was that low.
17.5% blitz percentage. Not great. And honestly, against the Chargers, like, good luck with that.
But is this the game that all of a sudden they turn it up considering what other teams have found success on?
Yep. It's like, you remember when we were playing the Giants game? This defense is terrible. Their secondary is trash.
Well, the defensive line's pretty damn good.
Yep. Right. To me, the teams that I fear are the ones with the defensive front. And right now, without Arden Key, without Jeffrey Simmons, like this Tennessee Titans team is not that. But man, what can go wrong will go wrong. What the opposing team does terribly, somehow, sometimes the Chargers make them look great at. So Titans run defense is brutal. Watch them have a stellar performance. Chargers offense is absolutely horrific. Watch Cam Ward light it up. Like, this is the pessimist coming out of me, right? It's like, oh, don't even let this shit happen. Mighty. I don't think we've been whooped one time this year yet. Colts just got ahead and stayed ahead because we couldn't stop on defense. I mean, you got whooped on defense versus the Colts. On defense, you got whooped. Like,
what happened in the Commanders game after you put up 10 points to start that game and then allowed them to just go off for 27 unanswered?
But again, that wasn't really whooped. There's a lot of self-inflicted, like, you got to be kidding me.
I mean, I get that. At the same time, it's like, remember, they were playing without Terry McLaurin. They had their own slew of injuries that they were coming into that game with.
Yep.
And yet 27 unanswered points?
Brutal. Yeah.
That one didn't make any sense to me.
Yep. A couple secondary watches, Jake. Sweet Jumps Mickens watch.
Yes.
Looking forward to him. And your boy.
Let's go.
Huge.
Let's go.
Tarheem Still is out. Nico Reed is in. Coaching staff talks about this being an opportunity for him. Jake, this is your chance to shine.
Man, Nico Reed, I go all the way back to his tape at Oregon. The instincts that he plays with, his ability to tackle, and you saw it in the preseason of what he was able to do. If you read the piece by Eric Smith, just highlighting this opportunity for Nico Reed, he is so ready for this. He is so ready for this, and everything that you have heard and seen from Nico Reed up to this point has proven to you that he's more than capable of taking on an opportunity like this. He's ready to roll. I'm more interested to see exactly where they're going to play Nico in a majority of the snaps, because he's capable of playing both outside and inside. So what are you going to do? Because the Tarheem Steele injury, are you still going to start Jasir Taylor in that spot? Or are you going to rotate it between him and Nico? Are you going to sprinkle a little bit of Nico on the outside of the cornerback, depending on the coverage? Whatever it is, he's going to be able to do it. I have the utmost confidence in Nico Reed this weekend.
All right, folks, the chat. Let's round this thing out. We have X factors and predictions, both bold and game predictions. So in the chat, spam us with who you believe your X factors will be and what your predictions are for this Chargers game. Will there be somebody who predicts loss? Ooh, demon hours. Jake, X factors for this Chargers team on offense. Who you going with?
You should be happy about this one, Dan. I'm still keeping it in the ether.
My 5%.
The meteoric rise of Oronde Gadsden is going to continue this weekend.
So are you starting him in fantasy?
No. I'm still going with Tucker Kraft.
That's love.
Still going with Tucker Kraft. Some point or another, my arm is going to be twisted, and I'm going to be in a position where I have to start Oronde Gadsden. But once again, Justin Herbert's going to be able to find Gadsden plenty in this game. Keenan Allen obviously is going to get some headlines because he is going to break the all-time receptions record this weekend.
Are you sure it's 4? I thought it was 3.
I thought it was 3 to tie, 4 to break.
I thought it was 2 to tie, 3 to break. But either way, less than
he's
4 or less, whatever.
2, 3, 4. He's breaking it this weekend. But Oronde Gadsden, Dan, is going to once again make Joe Ortiz look phenomenal. And everybody questioned how in the hell did this converted wide receiver out of Syracuse hit the ground like this?
It still blows my mind that he went that low, considering what he had. I go back to that like pre-draft tight end conversation and how many dudes there were. Like, it was a great tight end class, but like nobody was talking about OG. And I was like, what are you guys missing? And I don't know, man. To see him get drafted, for them to trade up to get him, to see the coach talk about how like, we got a plan for you, how excited they were, and to see him not even play 2 games and the stats he's got up already, like, whew. All right, Jake. X factors for me. The easy one for me is Joe Alt, honestly. Like,
force multiplier.
He makes this team go just as much. I don't say just as much, almost as much as Justin Herbert does. And you don't realize it until he's not playing. I kind of feel so. I'm split with this. Do the Chargers pepper Keenan and let him break it here? Or is this like the Quentin Ladd game and let Keenan break it at home kind of thing? So I might go Quentin. Sneaky. I'm gonna go Quentin.
Simply because he didn't have any catches or targets last week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely going to get his opportunities.
Yep. Defense, Jake, who you taking?
I think you're going to like this one, Dan. You look at the interior of the Titans' offensive line. Center guard combination is definitely exploitable for them. And what a game by Justin Eboigbe against the Minnesota Vikings. Let's keep that train rolling. That's the type of interior pressure that you need, especially when you don't have players like Deshaun Hand in here for this period of time. And we heard Jesse Minter during minicamp, during preseason, really talking up the growth of Justin Eboigbe. And remember, he didn't really get an opportunity to play last year. It wasn't necessarily because of injuries, but to have him come into this when you go back to his college career at Alabama and what he was mainly known for, pass rush was kind of secondary for him. He was great against the run. And now for the fact that you see him stepping up the way he is against the Minnesota Vikings and coming in with that type of a pass rush, and I'm talking putting offensive linemen on the ground. Give me some more of that. I'm looking for Justin Eboigbe in this game.
Dark Star, $2 to Euro, looks like. Bold prediction. Nico Reed pick 6. Jake will be doing backflips.
Hammer it.
We're all doing shots.
Let's go.
Yep.
I like someone being this bold.
Yep. Vidal. I got to keep remembering that. Kamani Vidal. Bold prediction offense. Vidal gets 150 yards and a tutty. Yeah. Love that. Let's see. Let's get some of these other bold predictions. Eboigbe's trending. We got folks agreeing with you there. QJ go crazy game. Tartan Molden revenge game. Strip, fumble, interception. Like that. Tartan Molden. Let's see. Mighty. My prediction, 2 85-yard receivers, 100-yard running back, and a 350-plus yard quarterback and a 70-plus yard tight end, plus
5 sacks.
5 sacks.
It's a lot of ground cover for a bold prediction.
So here's the thing.
It's not improbable, honestly.
Here's the thing. It's not a good sign if your quarterback is having to throw 350 plus yards and you got 3 receivers going for roughly 260. If Justin Herbert's throwing for over 350, that means this team is close. Like, you don't want to blow out. You want Justin to be at, like, I don't know, 17 for 24, 240, and 3 touchdowns. And you got Vidal with, 130, Patterson with 70. Like, you want that kind of game.
Let's just say that this prediction came true. I'd love to know what the time of possession would be for the difference if this ended up coming true.
Honestly, if this came true, it has to be, in my opinion, it'd have to be like a shootout. Otherwise, like, your offense shouldn't have that many possessions unless they're getting 5 turnovers. But we'll see. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. I don't know. Chargers 72, Titans 3. Trey Lance
175 yards, 2 touchdowns. Talking about someone calling their shot.
Yep. Let's see. People are mentioning the revenge game for a lot of former Titans.
Yeah, this would be the first time since, again, Tart and Molden were acquired last year.
Hey, SJD.
That they get a... I got nothing but love for SJD.
I like SJD. He's funny.
But I think that Molden and Tart especially are playing with a little bit more motivation here.
Yeah. I want to see a blowout. I want to see Trey Lance. Mighty. No, it doesn't, Jake. I think he said you corrected it. I mean, Dan. I guess what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but in a blowout, people have good stats. I don't want Justin to have 3-7. I'm sorry. In this kind of game, I don't want him to have those stats. Like, that might be
you'd be
weird.
fine with 175, 2 touchdowns. Kamani Vidal rolls off for 150. The defense still does what they need to do.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't need Justin Herbert to go Superman.
That's my point.
In this game.
That's my point. Against the Eagles, sure. Against the Chiefs, sure. Broncos, fine. This game, you're hoping that he doesn't even have to play in the fourth quarter to get those stats. I don't know. Jake, bold final predictions for you. What say you?
Bold predictions for this game, because I feel like everybody's been giving their bold predictions on offense, so I kind of want to do something different in this circumstance. Someone put that the Chargers would have 5 sacks. I actually don't believe that is too bold in this particular game.
I agree.
If you play the exact same way that you played against Minnesota, if you jump off to a good lead, Jesse Minter should be able to create enough pressure, be aggressive on defense to where you should be getting these opportunities, especially with the way that Owe, Tooley, and Mack have played since the 3 of them have been together. So I'm going to go something different, Dan. I'm going to go something different. Mm-hmm. The one thing that has not been talked about really is again the turnover battle. And I know that someone put in here that Nico Reed is going to have a pick six, which is bold enough within itself.
You got someone here saying 5 pick sixes, by the way.
I'm going to do the whole thing that people used to do on The Price is Right. Like, if someone put in their prediction for the price is like $50, someone would come in and say, well, 51 for me. I'm going to come in and say that Nico Reed is going to have 2 interceptions in this game.
Oh, Jake would be absolutely.
I am that confident in his ability.
Here's the thing. I'm confident in his ability, and then just like macro, I'm confident in generally or individually the secondary players of this Chargers team versus the playmakers of this Titans offense. Okonkwo versus Derwin or Dayon. You know who you're picking there. Ladd, Keenan, Quentin, Arande, Trey versus any of those corners, linebackers, safeties.
You know what the crappy part is about Oronde Gadsden and trying to make a bold prediction for him, which is totally fine. But it's hard to make any type of stat line look better than what he had against the Colts in a loss going off for what he had in that particular game. So it's like anything else looks not that bold at all.
Yep. There's one here that came up pretty good. Herbert rushing over 50 yards total. I like
that's
that.
That's a fair line.
I like that one. I got a lot actually. Over under 3 stiff arms for Justin Herbert in this game. So let's put the line at 2.5. I
mean, I would prefer 0, honestly. I wouldn't want guys getting that close to him. But I'm going to say under.
Okay. Bold prediction: Quentin has a 100-yard game from Dark Star. Dang. I mean, I'm with you. I like Quentin in this one. Final predictions. Go ahead. Oh, I'm gonna have a defensive touchdown. Quentin over 100 yards. That's what I'm going.
Defensive touchdown. Quentin Johnson over 100 yards. That's Dan Wolkenstein's bold prediction. Final prediction on this one, Dan. I'm trying to be generous, but also like realistic. Like, let's not put my head in the clouds type of situation.
Yep.
I'm gonna go 30-10. Chargers.
30-10.
Okay. 30-10.
Expression Station. Bold prediction. Madison Beers at the game. Justin Herbert wears his hat backwards. Jim Harbaugh smiles on the sidelines. I'll add one. Jim Harbaugh's hands are on his knees.
Is that really bold though? He's
Justin
got his
Herbert
hands on his knees all the time.
Justin Herbert, Joe Alt, fist bumps in the air.
By the way, any type of shade that can be thrown on Colin Cowherd, by all means, keep wearing the hat backwards. I even got some shade a long time ago when this podcast was under a different banner for me wearing my hat backwards.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I remember it. And I kind of did the exact same thing that Baker Mayfield did when he was getting it from Colin Cowherd. He's like, he came in with his hat backwards, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, wait a second! Before I start, let me just turn my hat back around." It's like, I actually love the fact that people called him out on that. Good. Like it is wearing your hat a direction is not indicative of who is going to be a franchise quarterback. Don't give me any of that crap.
Yeah, freaky bold. Bold prediction: since Dicker has already missed one kick for the perfect season, they give him a chance to kick a 60-plus yard field goal to set the record. That'd be fun.
I mean, he's already casually hit a 58-yard field goal that didn't even count earlier this season.
And he made that by at least 10 yards. Over-under on Cam Moore's backward passes / fumbles. I'll put the line backwards passes. Oh, is it backwards pass that turned into fumbles? Ooh, okay, 0.5. I was going to say backwards passes / fumbles, so and or. But if it's...
Look, it's unfortunate for the season that Cam Ward is being put in, and by his own words, which I have actually echoed in relation to this Chargers team, his whole speech about him saying, if we keep it at a buck, we ass.
Yep.
I mean, it's hard to argue that, but at the same time, I mean, he's kind of been put in a tough situation for a rookie season, given what he's dealing with.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually curious to see what Cam Ward's... So generally speaking, he does pretty good throwing deep left, center, or right so far this year. He's in the 80s for passing grades in all 3 of those. Behind the line of scrimmage, weirdly, not great at all, which I find shocking. Intermediate left, just a 55.6 grade. Intermediate right, 55.7. So honestly, generally speaking, he's good deep, not great intermediate, and okay short, and terrible behind line of scrimmage. Dang. Shocking. So, I don't know, man. this is where I want to put the devil horns on and be like, no, they're losing this game. I'm not going to let myself fall for this shit again.
Dan, don't do it. Come on.
They can't lose this game, man. They can't. I don't see how this staff and the leaders of this team let it happen. I just don't. Like, I'm sorry. I honestly couldn't even fathom what that post-game locker room would look like from the likes of Justin, from Derwin, Khalil, Harbaugh. Like,
it would be all-time bad.
All-time bad. So I'm going to go.
You would never get anything different from Herbert or Harbaugh, but if you had Mac up there at the podium, you could feel how pissed off he would be if they walked into there after losing a game. Dan, I'm going to echo what was written, especially taking a quote from Ladd McConkey after last game, where he just said everybody was fed up after the games that they had put together over that month stretch. New York, Washington, Miami, Colts. Going into Thursday Night Football, Ladd McConkey said after the game that everybody was just fed up. And you saw arguably the best game that they have been able to put together in all three phases of the season. Carry that this week. Carry that beyond this week.
Yep.
Let's build off of that. Dan, stop trying to talk yourself out of it. What is it?
I know. No, I have them winning this game. I'll go 27-9. 27-9.
27-9. Okay.
Here's the thing for me, and we have final thoughts up here for a reason. There's games that you can just, let slip, right? There's where you just have letdowns. There's just bad day in the office, right? Like that Giants game was brutal.
One of those days.
Yep. The Colts game, like they got, especially on defense, they got smoked, right? Like that was a look yourself in the mirror type post-game locker room. They responded against the Vikings. To me, like this game will tell you a lot about what this team actually is. Like this is winning time. This is where good teams flex.
I'd say it's this stretch more than it is this actual game.
Totally. Like this is the start of it, right? Like you got that Minnesota, you got the monkey off your back, you got the short rest, flush it, you got the win. Keep it rolling. Yeah. They're looking more like, okay, they weather the storm, they're getting guys back slowly but surely. But if this is, and again, like I'll take the win any way I can get it. Right?
That's all that matters.
But if this is like coming down to the wire, like you're not going to have folks feeling confident. But if you go out there and handle your business, win this game by multiple scores, 6-3, going in with 2 games left for the bye, like you're feeling pretty good, all things considered, right? Like this team has been crushed with injuries this season. Crushed. Like they literally were on offensive tackle 6 and 7 and running back 4 as their starters. And yet they now have 5 wins, possibly 6. They have been crushed with injuries. 6-3 would be a huge, huge accomplishment, in my opinion, all things considered. Jake, final thoughts on your end.
I actually kind of shared him with the Ladd McConkey sentiments. And once again, echoing your comments, you just play your game. You should be able to roll. And that's not being overconfident. That's not coming into this with a big head or trying to be creative and fancy or anything of that nature. Play your game. Build off of what you did against the Minnesota Vikings. Get out of this week with a win, whatever it takes. This next stretch of 4 games is extremely winnable. When you started off the season 3-0, 3-0 in the division on top of that.
Huge.
You fast forward now what has taken place in the last month. You lost 3 out of 4. You responded against Minnesota in a very, very good way. This is the stretch that you need to string those wins together, because by the time that you get towards the end of the season, you're going to need every W that you possibly can. And for the Chargers, this is what is working in their favor. Right now, considering what you see in the other divisions, there may not be more than one team that goes to the playoffs in the other divisions. Much like it was last year, where you saw the Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs all in the postseason, you could very much see that again. Only this time, it's a hell of a lot more competitive than it was last year. This is the time right now where you need to handle business.
You're 4-1 in the division. This should be 5-1. That's huge. 5-1 in the division. Be massive going into 2 games against the Steelers and Jaguars.
You're talking about the offense. Sorry.
Who's got it better than us? Future us this week, Jumps. I agree. 51-7 says Chargers, says Brad. Excuse me. Winning time. One last call for alcohol. So finish your whiskey and beer. Winning time. You don't have to go home. Yep.
Winning time. I like that. Winning time.
Yep. Expression. Here we go. Chargers ain't losing this game. This is a college football team versus an NFL team. College team loses 100 out of 100 times. Yeah, it's November football, by the way, Jake. Sweet Jumps. Rivers loved November football. Just get the win, man.
Exactly.
Like I do not want to be freaking coming on here.
I'm old enough to remember when the Cleveland Browns won one game.
Guess who it was?
Season.
Guess who they beat?
It was against the Chargers. Don't underestimate this game at all.
Honestly, it will be the worst vibes. I mean, the vibes in the Brandon Staley era were bad, and there were like lots of bad times, right? And that kind of culminating on that Raiders loss, but then it kind of felt kind of good and therapeutic and like, yeah, flush it, get all this thing out of here. This might be worse vibes if they lose this game, like on a week-to-week basis. Just win, man. Don't make Jake and I come back on this show next week after a loss, because that will be insufferable. That will be so bad. Good vibes. Chargers win, hopefully. We get to talk about it on a Victory Monday, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Jake, anything else before we get out of here? It was fun.
It's been a nice week, Dan. Let's cap it off with a Chargers win. Let's go to work. Let's start off November with a bang.
Chargers versus the Titans. Hopefully in, let's see, 27 hours from now, we're all happy. Fingers crossed. For all those who have not yet done so, please do us a favor. Hit that like and subscribe. Helps out a ton.
Just to make sure you don't miss the game, Dan Wolkenstein, it's on at 10 a.m. local time. So for you, it's just under 24 hours.
No, Jake, do the math. 24 hours from now, plus 3 hours. The game's over. Hopefully we're happy.
Oh, game over. Sorry, I thought you were about the game.
Jeez.
My fault.
What are you drinking this morning?
I don't know. Brad Spicoli is going to come back and say Jake's baked, whatever. He's going to come back to me on that one. But no, that was just me not being able to do math. Simple as that. I'll call myself on that. I obviously wasn't listening to Dan Wolkenstein well enough to know what he was talking about.
Wow. Look at Jake taking accountability on a Saturday morning.
It's about as much as you're going to get from me.
What are you doing the rest of the weekend besides the Chargers game?
It's football, man. It's a great day for college football today. If you're watching, put yourself on the couch. If you can, enjoy some college football. I know everybody's gearing up for Game 7 of the World Series. It's going to be a hell of a sports weekend. But NFL Sunday, baby. Let's go.
Thank you all for tuning in. I'm Dan. That's Jake. This is Charger Unleashed, part of LA Football Network. Talk to you next time. Have a good weekend.